Hey guys, so after that Christian radio station totally dropped the ball on Jesus by shutting him out of that Christmas special with New Jeans, well, Jesus must have taken things into his own hand and found his own David to take down the Goliath. Who's the David, who's the Goliath in this situation? It's always been debatable. People sometimes see Min Hee-jin as the underdog, but no, in this case, she's the Goliath, and the owner of a Wi-Fi router manufacturer that was approached for investment, even though he's like a rich person himself. Because if we remember, there is some passage in the Bible that says God chooses the foolish things of the world that he might put shame to the wise, chooses the weak things of the world to put shame on things that are strong. So basically saying like, your heroes come in forms that you wouldn't expect, sometimes foolish, because yes, obviously if you fall for the machinations of our top graduate from the Jezebel Institute of Treachery, New Jeans mama, you're kind of foolish. So this is a huge deal because we have an exclusive interview from 10 Asia that totally blows the lid on Min Hee-jin's denials of ever meeting with investors. So remember back we were talking about the Wi-Fi router manufacturer that supposedly was approached for about a $5 million investment, first through one of the uncles of a New Jeans member. Which New Jeans member that was, which uncle it is, we don't know, but we have the actual person that was approached for the investment, the chairman of a Wi-Fi router manufacturer, the Davolink. We have him just spilling the beans. He is angry. He was so angry that even in the report, the reporter, and this is print, this is not a video interview, but even in a print interview, the reporter said, this dude raised his voice when he was calling Min Hee-jin a liar. And you are in hot water when Korean people not only call you a liar, but essentially like the pants on fire liar, the blatant liar. But the Korean phrase is 새빨간 거짓말. So blood red. Doesn't really say blood red, but that's essentially the type of red they're talking about. So if you are a total liar, pants on fire, the sort of old school way of saying it is just like, oh, it is red. It is a red hot lie. And this totally gives me vibes of when right now, the person that might be the new president of South Korea after they do the elections, the leader of the Democratic Party who was just narrowly defeated in the last presidential election, Lee Jae-myung, and when we covered his controversy, well, he had that affair with that actress, and she got mad after he totally denied even having any relations with her, and she was just like, oh no, I know every inch of his body, honey, and she said that he was a huge liar, and she tried to get all poetic and said like, 새빨간 사이다. Saida is like Sprite, and that was a metaphor for Lee Jae-myung because he's like so transparent and honest, like Sprite or 7-Up. And then so she said, no, don't believe his lies. His 7-Up and Sprite is blood red because of blood red lies. That's just, if you're wondering, the metaphor of the language in Korea. But it totally has the similar vibes because this CEO of Davolink looks like he is going real public, real hard to reclaim his truth. That's the vibe that we're getting. He did not like how he was publicly maligned as a liar, and he did not like how Min Hee-jin's actions and saying that she never even met him dropped his stock price. So like I was saying, like, maybe his hands was caught in the cookie jar. We don't know how this relationship came about, whether it was mainly through the uncle of the New Jeans member or whether that uncle was just supposed to be a conduit, whether Min Hee-jin really set it up through her connections. It doesn't look like Min Hee-jin really knew the Davolink CEO from a long-standing relationship. So we don't know how, Mr. Davolink got into this mess, went into this bunny patch, but I think in a way for him to kind of come strong and come clean like this, he's trying to distance himself from any, of course, legal liability because, he could, it's a bit of hot water, save his stock price for his existing company, and then kind of maybe just get a pass on how you got into this mess in the first place. And so we're looking at the situation now in January, and I wanted to kind of go over the timeline because this directly relates to the breach of contract on even a criminal level that HYBE filed. Remember back in April, late April, before the April 29th, I believe, press conference that Min Hee-jin made a big hoopla about. She was trying to, and she was successful at first, to get louder volume to take our eyes off of the April 26th filing of criminal charges against Min Hee-jin by HYBE. This police investigation is still ongoing. We saw the initial injunction where legally the judge said, oh, she's betraying HYBE and not necessarily ADOR. Well, this would be direct. It would just tick off so many boxes, whether it was breach of contract or betrayal or whatnot. So we have confirmation, at least from the Davolink CEO, the guy that said that was in the room, and this is what he says. So it becomes a question of how much evidence, does your testimony count for? And if he has any other additional evidence to back up his claims, because Min Hee-jin is denying the whole thing. She's even denying that he even met him, even though we have photos. But, we have photos of her going to his building. So in late August 2024, the uncle of one of the New Jeans members approached the Davolink CEO about an investment of about $5 million. Then September 30th, 2024 was the actual 3-hour meeting between the Davolink CEO and Min Hee-jin to discuss the terms of this investment. Remember, this is before Min Hee-jin officially resigned on November 20th, 2024. Then in December 2024, there was the first interview by 10Asia with the Davolink CEO. Then a few days afterwards, they gave Min Hee-jin the opportunity to respond while they were making their report. So she denied everything. So then 10Asia went back and did a follow-up interview. Before publishing this article yesterday, they went on January 7th to meet again with this Davolink CEO to respond to Min Hee-jin's rebuttals. And so this is why we have this real juicy report. A bit messy, but we love a sloppy, slurpy tea drinker who spills the tea past the saucer, and oh yes, he did. So his name is Park Chung-kyu, Chairman Park Chung-kyu. Chung-kyu is his first name, and Park is his last name. So we'll just call him Chairman Park, or if I say Park Chung-kyu, basically I'm talking about the Davolink chairman. And he said that, in this report, we'll go over it, like saying that it was an outright lie, an outright travesty, what Min Hee-jin was doing and saying publicly. He said that he was shocked to hear that Min Hee-jin claims that she never approached him for investment, that she never approached other investors, because he's thinking probably he's not the first person she's calling. A Wi-Fi router manufacturer, by the time it got to him, he already knows that, she's probably, approached a bunch of people, but at least he knows that he himself was approached to invest into Min Hee-jin, her spinoff company, and trying to abscond with New Jeans out of ADOR and HYBE. He is mad, yes, because he said that after they met, Min Hee-jin went out there and said, no, we never met. I never asked him for any investment. And so he had to suffer this reputational damage of being considered a liar and suffered a decline in stock price. And this is where like even the reporter was saying, oh, Chairman Park raised his voice saying that it was an absurd lie, that Min Hee-jin even denied meeting him at all. So how did this investment proposal go down? Again, it was for Oshibok, which is 5 billion won, which roughly translates to about $4 to $5 million, depending on the exchange rate. And Chairman Park initially got the request through one of the uncles of a New Jeans member. And he even went into detail of how it went down. And it seemed a little sus. He said like he got a call from the uncle, I guess. And it sounded like the uncle was a little bit desperate because this chairman, of course, he was playing golf on a Sunday in late August, he said. And he said that like when he got the phone call, the uncle said, I got to meet you today and I'll wait for you in front of your house. So this uncle of a New Jeans member was just sitting there waiting for this dude to come back from playing golf. And then he said that they met around 9 p.m. So yeah, this is when stuff was going down, right? And so it seems like the New Jeans team was desperate to try to get some sort of funding. And so the chairman said that the uncle wanted him to invest 5 billion won, or about $5 million. And the chairman was like, oh, wait, hold on. No, can't do that right away. That's really big risk. I can't decide right now. Like, who is going to show up while you coming home? It's 9 p.m. You're tired from golfing and ask for $5 million. Like, yeah, okay. Like, didn't even like bother scheduling a meeting during business hours on Monday. Like you showing up on a Sunday night and asking for $5 million in front of my house. What are they expecting? So first he's like, okay, no. But then it sounded like they were pretty desperate because he did, meet on a business day, the next day on a Monday. And the chairman, now this is where you could say, chairman is a chairman. Look at this chairman move, okay? So the chairman said he made a counter offer. And so he said that, you know what? I don't want to give my own money. I don't want to invest in such a risky proposal. But he's also seeing like, there's a potential here to kill two birds with one stone. He said that, okay, fine. Why don't we try to structure this as an acquisition of my Wi-Fi router company? So it sounded like he wanted to try to dump off his Wi-Fi router, manufacturing company. Maybe it was struggling. It looks like, by the time you're trying to stamp minions on it as a kind of as a special edition of a Wi-Fi router, I think that market is pretty saturated. And so it looked like he was probably thinking like, oh, okay, I can't really sell this thing, but, and then he explained how it would be done. He said, okay, instead of me investing my own fresh cash of $5 million into Min Hee-jin and her, project, because he already invested in some minions, he said like, okay, fine. Why don't we set it up so that the uncle, eventually I will sell this company to the uncle and keep Min Hee-jin's, fingerprints out of it. So what you would do is that not only would you create a company for New Jeans and Min Hee-jin to come in, he would create it so that he can attract investors, other people's money, so that he would say, okay, I still own Davolink in this Wi-Fi router manufacturer. We're going to expand into K-pop with, Min Hee-jin and New Jeans. And we are going to ask for investment to come in. So he didn't have to use his own $5 million. He gets a little bit of here and there, people investing it. And then the Davolink CEO dude was saying like, okay, and then after a certain period, I will sell this company and make a profit. And so that's how he gets to sort of invest without using his own money. And of course, he would lose his company. He would sell off his company. But maybe to me, it looked like you're going to sell off a company that you don't want anymore. And this is sort of like that win-win situation. Well, he explained it to the uncle at the late August meeting in that format. And so the uncle called Min Hee-jin, according to the chairman, and he said, like, right when Min Hee-jin answered the phone, she said, 아버님, 이야기 잘 되셨나요? Like, Daddy, did the talk go well? Of course, it's not exactly daddy, because 아버님 is sort of like the respectful way of saying father. But it is a little odd that, especially if Min Hee-jin has never even met the dude, according to her, why you be calling somebody daddy so fast? So 아버님, that's a very sus type of way of addressing a Korean man, especially if he is the chairman. The go-to, especially if you don't know him, you're going to be calling him chairman out of respect. The only way where it would be sort of like 아버님 in a way that it would make sense is if it is already established and you're trying to gesture respect. So if Min Hee-jin's, let's say, she had maybe a niece or something who was friends with somebody in their family, and they kind of knew each other in that way. And then, instead of saying Mr., you could just call him 아버님, but they have no relation like that. Or even like if you're at a restaurant and you're going with your entire family, and it's clear who the father is and, who are the other family members, and if the wait staff or the hostess are trying to be respectful and say oh 아버님, then it wouldn't be really weird because she don't know him, but it'd be okay, I see you're with your family, I'm going to gesture respect as you're the father. But this is the Wi-Fi router manufacturer, factory owner, and they never even met, and then this is the first thing she says, 아버님. That is, again, how we talked about the Lee Sun-gyun case where those room salon girls were conning, each other, and that in that world, not saying that, Nugent's mama is in that world, but I'm not saying. So that is the way for more of a con people, or those, I think, people in that shamanistic world try to call each other by family titles when they ain't your family, to establish a fast kind of connection that you really don't deserve or really have, but but to the person it feels good. If somebody is suddenly calling you daddy, it feels good. So sometimes people go along with it and you get sucked in. That's one of the techniques of this Jezebel Institute of Treachery. So then, that was late August, and then September 30th, that's when they actually met Chairman Park and Min Hee-jin, Nugent's mama, at the chairman's house. We have the photos released by, I believe it was Dispatch, that showed Min Hee-jin rolling up to this investor meeting at his house, and he confirmed the photos. So we don't have a photo of them too, but we do have definitely her at the location. I mean, she can maybe now make up another lie saying she was visiting somebody else. Maybe she got another daddy up there. So then they met, and the purpose of that meeting was to discuss how to transfer Davolink, that company, to Min Hee-jin and get the funds. So it would be like a circuitous route. So it would first go to the uncle, and then the uncle would either just be the silent kind of owner, but the real owner would be her, or she would just get it from the uncle eventually. And then also, before all of that transfer happened, you have to create some value, because the company has to go up in price for him to have a profit. And then you need some money to make money, so they would talk about how to procure the necessary funds. So pretty smart. It's a way for Mr. Chairman to make a profit, get rid of a failing entity, and not have to use any of his own money or risk. So the next part of the report outlines specifically that he had a conversation with Min Hee-jin about new jeans, and he confirmed that claim that said, yeah, Min Hee-jin asked if she could bring along new jeans and take new jeans out of HYBE, and the chairman, in a very chairman-y way, said, well, in order to take out new jeans, you'd have to throw away them first. Why? Because like you say, if you fight tooth and nail, like if you are saying like you're their mama, you're gonna like protect them no matter what, then who is going to give up new jeans? As in ADOR and HYBE are going to be thinking like, dang, you really want them. That means they're really valuable. And therefore, nobody gives up something of value, which indicates to me the way that he thinks. He didn't think this Davolink, this Wi-Fi router manufacturer, is anything of value because he's willing to kind of give it away eventually. And so he's saying like, first, in order to do this, so he's showing his collusion. He's showing that he was along for the ride. He's showing that they were conspiring and plotting together and saying like, well, you gotta devalue new jeans, throw them away at first, and then pick them up. And another way to even enhance that is for you, Min Hee-jin, so Chairman Park is advising, saying like, you, Min Hee-jin, leave ADOR so that you even deflate and degrade the value even more. And then you'd be able to probably find some way to acquire or make a deal or just, plop new jeans out and then come into this new Davolink venture. So it seemed like they were thick as thieves. Then what happened? Well, Chairman Park, even before Min Hee-jin denied that she even met with him and changed her tune publicly without even giving him like a co-conspirator call first, said that it was a little sus. This meeting on September 30th was a little sus because, again, they met for 3 hours. So this girl can't talk for less than 3 hours. It's like one of those people, like once you start a phone call, it's 3 hours minimum. And so the chairman said, during this 3-hour conversation, Min Hee-jin talked about herself for over 70% of the time. And if there's anything that an older chairman man, a Korean man chairman, the ratio always has to be flipped. And 70% is the minimum. He should have been the one talking 70%, especially if he was the one with the money and he was the one going to, fulfill these aspirations and dreams of Min Hee-jin. He should have been talking more, but she's talking 70% of the time in a 3-hour conversation and probably drained his energy, and she's going all over this and that. And he said that it primarily consisted of her complaining about Chairman Park Shi-hyuk and even calling him a pig, XX. So not just a pig, but like a, pig and then some expletive. And he was like, that is really, really uncalled for. That is not basic manners to call your actually current boss a pig ass, mofo, whatever, in front of somebody you just met. And he's a chairman and he knows, like, she is violating like the number one like when you're applying for a new job, you never badmouth the last job or like your bosses. And she is just going off about Chairman Park and the conflict that they have. Now, why do you not do that? And why does this just look bad even for her? Like, it's because he sees himself eventually being replaced by Chairman Park in this story when she goes and tries to run off with his investment, find some other bunny uncle and complain about him. So instead of her spending 3 hours with the new bunny uncle complaining about Chairman Park, it'll be complaining about Chairman Park. And so these guys, they know. And he's just like, I had a bad feeling this wouldn't work out very well. And then that just got really cemented when she just changed her tune publicly without it, like, even consulting him, saying like, oh, no, I never met him. No, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And that turned this guy into a laughingstock, a fool, and dented his stock price. And so he is mad. So how did Min Hee-jin respond? Well, she said that everything that this chairman is saying is false. It is untrue. And the legal team of Min Hee-jin said that we never discussed investment with Chairman Park and never proposed investment. And Chairman Park is like, lies, red hot, blatant lies. So he's a bit upset about this situation. And 10 Asia was saying, like, in their report, they're saying like, it doesn't make sense. Like the fundamental part of this that doesn't make sense is that Min Hee-jin said that she never even met Chairman Park. So unless Chairman Park is making the biggest ruse of pretending that he was approached for investment by New Jeans mama and a New Jeans uncle, then it only makes sense that Min Hee-jin is lying. We even have photo of her going to his place. And if we probably did phone forensics, we can see that the bunny uncle or the uncle of one of the New Jeans members called the chairman. It's just so obvious. So after this report, and then now if the police can pick up the investigation, then it becomes really much the end of the road for Min Hee-jin, because this is like evidence of breach of trust. And breach of trust is not simply a plan. It needs action legally. Legally, if you're going to be nabbed for breach of trust, that means that you have to actually do something about it. And up until now, Min Hee-jin has been able to contain the evidence and just call all of these plans and plots and stuff and conversations as just like, oh, idle chit chat or just fantasies, or, when we are so stressed out, we're, enacting bullet point PowerPoint plans on how to sabotage the company and steal it, but we didn't actually do anything. Like, so that's how she's been able to skirt by a bit. But this shows actual, real, verifiable execution on a plan that would trigger breach of trust while she was still the CEO of ADOR, or at least part of the board of directors. And so this is putting her in some hot water, and this man just threw in a tea bag. So what do you guys think? Do you believe Min Hee-jin? Do you believe that New Jeans mama never even met this man, don't even know where this Wi-Fi router factory business even started, or, what the 5G of all of this is? Or do you believe this chairman, who is just mad enough where the reporter even had to write down oh, he yelled and raised his voice, calling her a liar, pants on fire, red hot, blatant liar. It is just a mess. But maybe this will be the moment that has finally sealed the fate of Min Hee-jin, her machinations, and finally bringing an end to all of the manipulation and treachery going on in this situation. All right, guys, put your comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.